Pokémon haven't just arrived in the movie world since Detective Pikachu. The little creatures which have been popular for generations can no longer be found only in playing cards and gaming consoles, but now they are even set to get their own live-action series for the first time. Well, at least if the US magazine Variety is to be believed, who have received this information from exclusive sources. So the series is being produced for Netflix, and to make sure it's appealing in the end, Joe Henderson, the showrunner of the hit series Lucifer, has been hired. He will be in charge of the script as well as the production. Unfortunately, at this point it is still completely unclear what the plot of the live-action series will consist of. Thus, we all need to be patient a little longer until we get more information regarding the Netflix project. Director Peyton Reed announced via Twitter that shooting of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania has begun. We can also look forward to some familiar faces in the third part as Paul Rudd returns as Scott Lang and Evangeline Lilly as Wasp. Also returning will be Michael Douglas as scientist Dr. Hank Pym and Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Van Dyne. As has been clear for a few months, the villain Yellow Jacket could also make another appearance and cause quite a stir. Scott Lang's nemesis was actually crushed in his sabotage suit at the end of Ant-Man, but director Reed hasn't ruled out the possibility that Yellow Jacket could just be trapped in the quantum realm. The fact that this is not impossible can be seen in the case of Janet, who managed to survive there for several decades even. We are definitely excited and look forward to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which will be released on February 17th, 2023. As reported by The Hollywood Reporter this month, a sequel to Amazon's The Tomorrow War project starring Chris Pratt is in the works. In spite of mixed reviews, the movie seems to have taken off statistically, as according to insider information, the film was more successful in its first days than any other in-house production. In order to ensure that this is also the case with the sequel, some of those responsible for the first part will be making a comeback. Among them are director Chris McKay and screenwriter Zach Dean. We can also look forward to a reunion with the majority of the cast, including, of course, Chris Pratt, Yvonne Strahovski, J.K. Simmons, Betty Gilpin, and Sam Richardson. Hopefully, we'll soon find out more about the sequel to the sci-fi blockbuster. Much to the disappointment of many fans, Henry Cavill will not be taking on the role of Superman anytime soon. After fans have long waited for a direct sequel to Man of Steel, it was announced this year that J.J. Abrams is instead working on a Superman film that will be the first to focus on a black main character. As a result, we will have to say goodbye to both Clark Kent and Henry Cavill for the time being. Instead, Calvin Ellis, who has been known in the comics for quite some time, will take on the helm. It has been known for a few days that this is apparently not limited to just one movie. Collider reports that a Superman miniseries will be produced by Black Panther star Michael B. Jordan himself. The script is said to be already in the works and will feature the character Val Zod as the protagonist. The Superman successor is still fairly new to the franchise and made his debut in DC's Earth 2 comics in 2014. Of course, Val Zod has all the abilities of a real superhero, so he is superhumanly strong, fast, and enduring. In addition to his infrared and X-ray vision, he has another rather impressive superpower. Using his breath alone, he's able to unleash a hurricane. As one of the last Kryptonians, Val Zod is more than worthy to follow in Superman's footsteps. Unfortunately, neither the miniseries nor the film adaptation have a set release date yet. The first movie of the Space Jam franchise was released in 1996 and is still very popular to this day. Now that the second part starring LeBron James has recently been released, the odds of a potential third part are not bad at all. Director Malcolm D. Lee feels the same way and said in an interview with Entertainment Weekly that he is quite optimistic about a sequel. There's also already an interesting candidate for the role in Space Jam 3, and that is none other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The 49-year-old Hollywood star could add a slightly new twist to the franchise and even lead the film series in a totally different direction, namely that of wrestling. The only important aspect for Lee, he says, is maintaining the spirit of the predecessors. What do you guys think of the idea? Can you imagine a third Space Jam part with Dwayne Johnson in a wrestling version? Feel free to let us know in the comments. After The Predator from 2018 received rather mixed reviews, 10 Cloverfield Lane director Dan Trachtenberg is supposed to get the film series back on track by making a fifth part. Now, according to the website Collider, the official title of the movie is finally known to be Predator Skull. This isn't really a surprise since the previous working title was quite similar, namely Skulls. Regarding the making of the film, producer John Davis recently said that Predator Skull will partially be based on the first part from 1987. Colleague John Fox goes a bit further into detail and promises a greater resemblance to The Revenant as opposed to spin-offs from the franchise. If you end up watching the film, you will probably understand what he means by that, also known as the approximate timeline of the plot. What is clear is that Predator Skull is set in the past. Other rumors say that the story should even play before the colonization of the American continent by the Europeans. This really sounds like an interesting approach. We're glad that the movie is nearly done shooting anyway and look forward to the release date, which will probably be next year. In the past, Netflix has enjoyed great success with several video game adaptations such as the Witcher series. According to rumors, Final Fantasy and Dragon Age could now also become part of the lineup. The Final Fantasy franchise from Square Enix has existed since 1987 and now includes 15 main games, not to mention countless spin-offs. Given the gigantic pool of potential movie material, it's very hard to speculate about a concrete storyline. In fact, it's not the first time Final Fantasy has appeared on the big screen aside from the video games, as there have already been many animated adaptations. One of them flopped miserably, and that was the 2001 film Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. Besides the modest reviews, the most expensive video game adaptation at the time, at $135 million, also grossed a mere $85 million. Naturally, we hope that the Netflix series will not suffer the same fate and will keep you up to date on further news. Likewise, a Dragon Age series is also said to be in the planning stages at Netflix. Here, too, it'll be exciting to see which story will be thematized. There are enough exciting characters to choose from, and the world of Dragon Age also has a lot to offer. In view of the still really sparse state of facts and the lack of confirmation from Netflix so far, one can only speculate here as well. What are your thoughts on the Final Fantasy and Dragon Age series, and which video games would you like to see adapted into movies? Let us know.